ladies and gentlemen. I'm really pleased to have this conversation with Pankaj Sharma, who is the Chief Business Officer at Lentra. Pankaj Sharma, right? And Mrinal Sinha, he's at HDB Financial, the head of digital lending and third-party portal. Welcome, Pankaj. Welcome, Mrinal. So, HDB, we understand, hardcore NBFC, right? As typical as it can get in a positive way. Lentra, a hardcore IT company, a leading IT company, focused IT company, focused on the needs of the financial sector. So let's see if we can have, what kind of conversation we can have with these two gentlemen who represent the opposite sides of the same coin, right? Because ultimately they together serve the common man, the common business. Mrinal, I'd like to start with you because you are front-ending this entire population of customers. So I'm sure HDB started off as a very traditional lender, and you can even tell me when it started doing business. And you can maybe tell me what was the business model then and what is the business model now, and what exactly has digital changed since you represent digital lending as a line of business?
So, to answer your question, HDB started off sometime in late 2007, early 2008, and as you rightly mentioned, we were a very traditional company, and to a certain extent, I believe we still are. We are a very good balance of tradition and the modern way of doing business. We started with a complete model, which is a knock-on-the-door model, where our sales force, and fairly large sales force, visits the prospective customers on a day-to-day basis, knocks on the door model basically, and I know that's how we do business, and that's what we've been doing for the last as many years as we've been in the business. To answer the second part of your question, that how did we transform digitally, I think what we did with our sales force is, the first thing that we did with our sales force is that we made them use the mobile applications which we developed when they meet a prospective customer. Now, earlier what we were doing is they were just the old school, meeting customers, collecting cards, understanding the customer, coming back to the office with his papers and then deciding whether, what you can do with the customer. Now, what this mobile app did was that the salesman sitting in front of the customer can just feed in some basic details that we asked for, and those details through the app comes to our internal servers or the internal backend, where we analyze the customer on whatever parameters we need to, and we look at his, let's say, the bureau score, we look at, let's say, for example, the EPFO scrub, we arrive at an internal scorecard for the customer.
Okay.
And within 15 to 20 seconds, we are able to tell the salesperson sitting in front of the customer whether this prospect is good to go or not.
That's great.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
Yeah. What that has helped us is we've been able to bring down our turnaround times for providing financial solutions to the customers. In addition, it also has helped us improve the productivity of our salespeople, and overall, I think all that is getting reflected in our internal customer satisfaction scores, which are improving all the time. So I think that's the way we've used technology to transform our regular business.
So beyond using the mobile device, what else? Some more meaningful transformation? Digital approach?
So this particular model that I mentioned was about our core business, which was on the personal loans and the loan against property sourcing that we do. But in our other consumer products, for example, the consumer durable loans that we do, we have much more advanced systems where we are able to disburse loans in maybe flat 15 seconds.
So Pankaj, coming to you, how did the engagement with HDB Financial start for Lentra? And what is the real value addition Lentra brought in to HDB?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I think Mrinal touched upon how we've been able to add value to their existing processes. But I think overall, if not just specifically HDB Financial Services, but overall, if you look at the NBFC segment, how Lentra has been able to add value to the way NBFCs used to function earlier, their traditional ways of sourcing business, and also processing loan applications. I think that is the space where we've added tremendous value to the NBFC segment, where Lentra has built a digital platform which actually has brought together all the key stakeholders in the NBFC business, be it the sourcing partners, DSAs, channel partners, fintechs, and during the loan application processing, also other key stakeholders like the FI agencies or valuation agencies, legal agencies who are also key stakeholders in the processing of the loan. Lentra has been able to provide a platform to NBFCs and to other lenders where we've brought together all the key stakeholders on the same platform. So the sourcing of the loan becomes very seamless. The DSAs, the sourcing partners, also other RCUFs, UFI agencies, everyone is on the same platform, sourcing happens through it, and hence the entire processing of the application becomes very seamless, which results in a fantastic tag of disbursement and sanction, and eventually results into customer delight.
So, Mrinal, this sounds like maybe phase 2 of a digital transformation which goes beyond a mobile app being used by the sales force. If you were to dive deeper into digital, how is the business expansion and business sourcing at HDB leveraged some of these underlying technologies, and what do you see as the correlation between the platform?
So let me just answer that in maybe 2 or 3 parts. First part is on our legacy systems. We made our legacy systems API enabled. That's the first thing that we did. Secondly, all the new technology systems were put on an enterprise service bus, and this enterprise service bus was further used robustly with the help of API. Right.
Okay.
Secondly, as Pankaj mentioned, we work with new digital edge solutions like what Lentra provides. Like for example, Go No Go is a platform that they provide, which we use, and that has helped us automate our underwriting processes quite a bit. We use their platform a lot in our sales finance business, which is the consumer durable business, and we are able to disburse a loan in maybe under 15 seconds using this platform that we use with them. And that typically means I'm talking about 500,000 transactions per month, loans getting disbursed in under 15 seconds is what we do with them. In addition to that, we've also worked on low-code platforms where we have been able to, kind of bring everything under that platform, and that has helped us enhance our digital awareness for the client. And all this has been done keeping data security paramount in our process.
Just wanted to add over here, I think Mrinal touched upon a very, very critical part, specifically of consumer lending, where he said that it's very important for them to give a decision go or no go to the customers who are applying for a consumer durable finance loan, because the consumer walks into a store where he's wanting to buy a consumer durable an home appliance, or let's say a mobile phone handset, and you have to give an instant decision at that point itself. Very high chances that the customer that you're dealing with or the application which you're processing could be a new to credit customer where the customer's credit history is not available in the credit bureau, or if it's a tier 3, tier 4 kind of a city, it is quite possible that the customer may not have enough information, or you may not have customers enough information to actually take an informed decision on the customer. So what do you do in those kind of situations when it's a thin file, credit history is not possible, it's a new to credit customer, or you don't have enough information? I think that's where Lentra's platform, or the kind of platform that we've built, really helps them in taking an instant decision, where we've integrated the platform with a lot of different kinds of alternate database APIs, a lot of different fintech services, which helps them to, the platform basically helps them to ingest any kind of alternate database, use it as input and as a surrogate or a proxy for evaluating a particular loan, and that helps them to take an instant decision. So that's how the whole platform has been built. It has the capability of even evaluating those kind of customers where information is not present by using alternate database sources, and has those kind of advanced algorithms built in the business tool engine of the platform, which is able to help them provide that instant decision.
So both of you have said one very interesting thing each. One is that the decision is taken in 15 seconds, which is kind of the amount of time that an ATM takes to disburse cash. So an ATM just has to verify my account, and still it takes 15 seconds. Then to take a complex decision with an unknown entity, someone who is not yet a customer, I think 15 seconds is a massive achievement. So kudos for that to HDB team. And the way you described it, that the data is not available, and you can pull in so much alternate data and relevant data and with all your partners. So I imagine you must have a wide range of partners with different capabilities, because just having 2-3 partners doesn't sound like it's going to be sufficient.
Absolutely, and Manoj, everyone here in the audience would also agree that the digital lending space, the digital lending ecosystem is a very collaborative, business model. Today, no lender, no player in this space can actually claim that I can do everything on my own. It's a very collaborative ecosystem where right from sourcing, processing and disbursement, at every step, every lender needs to collaborate with either a data service provider or somebody like Lentra, and it's a very collaborative ecosystem. And so the platform that we've built it with over some 250 different API fintech services, so that once a lender comes onto Lentra's platform, they do not have to actually move out of the platform, and the end-to-end, right from origination up to disbursement, the entire processing can be done on one platform by way of fetching, making calls through the APIs and fetching all the data that they require.
Okay, fantastic. So, Mrinal, coming back to you, what does the channel strategy for HDB now look like?
So I think the way the fintech revolution has taken place, is taking place in India, gives us an immense opportunity on that segment, because these are organizations which are sourcing customers in a very different manner than what erstwhile organizations used to do. They have a reach, they are reaching to the millennials, they are reaching to the new to credit customers, they are reaching to everybody. We see a lot of scope there in the embedded finance space there, and with our flexible architecture and service bus that we have to provide, enterprise service bus that we have to provide, I think we can cater to many of these fintechs. What is also very interesting is that within the fintech space, we are seeing some very specific end-use players coming in.
Would you like to each of you make a closing remark?
Sure. Well, I think the way forward for the digital lending ecosystem is, to have platforms which are forward-looking. You can't have monolithic platforms. You can't have platforms, through which you can't collaborate with other players. So, and which is why if you see what Lentra has been doing is to build API-first platforms, so that once you give the digital platform to a player like HDB, on ongoing basis, they can keep integrating and collaborating with data service providers, sourcing channels. It could be anyone, it could be a marketplace. So it has to be a platform which is API first, forward looking, and that is exactly what today most of the lending models are pointing towards, be it ONDC, be it OKIN. Everyone is pointing towards a platform which is open API and a model which is API based, so that all the lenders have all the flexibility available to collaborate with a very quick GTM with a partner of their choice, and ensure that both sourcing and the processing is super fast with a quick GTM.
So one thing I take is outward looking rather than traditionally inward looking applications. And Mrinal, what would you say?
I think I agree 100% with Pankaj that digital lending has to be a very, very collaborative process. Nobody on a standalone basis would be able to do it successfully. It has to be collaborative. The future of digital lending, I think, in our view, is very bright. Like the way technology has affected all our lives, all of our lives in the last few years, lending can be no exception. And it is no exception, and it will continue to evolve, and there will be newer technologies, and I'm sure we are targeting 15 seconds today, or we're doing 15 seconds today, there will be technology where we can do it in 5 seconds.
I also assume that indirectly you also said the whole system is trustworthy and secure with all those connections.
Absolutely.
Everyone is...
Security is very important. As I mentioned, our data security norms are very strong, and we kind of insist with every partner that they have to be pretty good on that. Because we cannot, under any scene, put the customer information into wrong hands.
Amazing session. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our leaders.